Morning folks, Kevin here. Well, it's September 9th, 2018. I'm out next to the easternmost garden area, and recently I posted a video on a garden tour just earlier this week, well, last week. And I'll post a link to that video in the upper right hand corner. And when I was taking a tour, I started off on the west side of the garden, ended up over here on the east side of the garden. And towards the end of the video, I mentioned that this whole area behind me here, where that statue is and the all of the lavender plants are planted, that I had let the weeds get out of hand. This whole section over here had just gotten a bit out of hand. And what I had done wrong was, instead of cultivating the surface of the soil when the weeds were first emerging, I let them go and they overtook, and then they went to seed. So yesterday I decided what I'd do is I'd come over here, take all the material out. Fortunately I have Bumblebee and Optimus Prime back there, and I used those pieces of equipment and took out all of the soil that was here. Now the majority of that soil was wood chips, almost 3 years old, no, maybe 2 years old. Really had broken down very, very nicely because that's stuff that I'd mixed with compost. And there was tons of weeds in there as well. And there were the rhizomes, some of which are in the back of Pepe right now, buried underneath them. A year and a half ago, I made a video cutting in this swale, drainage swale, that drains from the driveway up here around where I'm standing now, and keeps the water from running into the food forest and making the ground saturated in the springtime. So that water comes down through this cutaway that I made where I'm standing right now, and it goes into the Pond 3 system over in there through the bioremediation canal system. And the reason that I'm mentioning that is right along this edge, right where my hand is right now, where the wood chips are, I had left a rocky area, a brim, which is gravel material, and it's still the excess moisture that came down from this gentle slope from right up here in the eastern garden would come down and drain through that gravel. Well, as time went on, the porosity of the gravel became occluded with the sediment from all the organic material that was coming down here. So it created, in a sense, a small dam right here at this edge, which saturated the area right at the edge here, where a lot of the plants, we started getting some of the nut sedge weeds in there. The quack grass went crazy there as well. But one of the other things that ended up happening was we lost some of the rhizomes of the irises, some of the ones that aren't water tolerant. So I decided to take all this material out, dig it all out, and bring it over, since it was broken down pretty darn well, and use it for part of the sealing material that I need for Pond 5. As I've already posted videos about really using all the paper products and weeds and vegetable matter that we get out of our gardens and trying to seal up that pond. So far it's been working pretty well, but this year I decided to go like gangbusters doing it. So by removing all the material from here, I was accomplishing two tasks: getting this ready for replanting all of the rhizomes for the irises, and also using that material to help seal up Pond 5. So I excavated the area that was occluding the drainage from this whole eastern garden plot. So that's taken care of now. It really is so important to have a gentle slope in your gardens, if at all possible, and to maintain adequate drainage, especially during those times when you get significant rainfall, so that you don't end up depriving the roots of their oxygen or air as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and wash off the rhizomes. I took the bulk of the weeds out, but you know, there's lots of little rootlets in amongst the rhizome roots there. I'm going to separate them out, clip off the greens to them, and lay them out around the lavender patch there as well. So we'll see how things go. Well, I just finished getting the irises transplanted. We have 3 different varieties that we acquired from people throwing them away. One of which was on Craigslist. Another one was somewhere where I get Purpose Farm. They had those in a big pile. They've been out for a couple of weeks. This was last year. And another type that I can't remember where I got those from, but I got them from another free source as well. And they've done very well in the past, except for, as I mentioned, that little dammed up area here which retained too much water and some of the rhizomes started to decompose. I did go ahead and top all the plants. I trimmed the roots as well, peeled back any dead or decaying material, any of the rhizomes that were decomposing. The birds are acting up around here. I removed, I teased apart the clusters of rhizomes that were really tightly interwoven, where some of the rhizomes from quackgrass or bindweed could get in between. I washed the variegated ones because of the way the roots come out of the rhizome, so I can make sure that I didn't have anything there. The other 2 varieties, it was easier to do with them being dry as well. That's all fresh compost. That was from the large pile composting system that's around there. There's 11 yards there and 2 loads of wood chips. All of this is going to compact down over time, but with really nice, deep, rich soil, it makes it much easier to weed if I don't get right on top of it, as long as I get them before they go to seed. Hopefully I'll get another load of some wood chips that are mulched up pretty darn well, because I'd like to put that over as a cap right over the whole thing. So a day and a half worth of work. I got rid of the weeds, got some fresh compost here, more wood chips, and the rhizomes have been transplanted, and it allow them to expand and do well. It'll take 2 years for us to get good flowers. Next year we might just get a few flowers. And we got some more patching material for Pond 5. So it was worth it. So if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. Give us a thumbs up if you think this video was of value. Share it with your friends. Be sure to hit the bell icon if you want to be notified when we post more videos. And certainly, folks, have a super fantastic day. Bye-bye now.